Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every month we deep dive into different aspects of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchises. It doesn't matter, because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And not this month, this season,
Yes,
we are going through the franchise that started it all. We're talking about Jaws. And today, we're talking about
Jaws 2.
And we have a guest for Jaws 2, a man who has never seen Jaws, only seen Jaws.
A man that refuses to watch Jaws.
A man who hates Jaws, hates Spielberg even. How are you doing? Introduce yourself.
It is me again. It is I, Brandon.
He's returned.
I've returned.
In a sweet kimono, probably from Rurouni Kenshin.
Came from my pilgrimage since the last episode.
Yes.
Exactly. Instead of Japan...
we should have videoed that one.
Yeah, we should have. Instead of coming from Japan, it looks like you came from, downtown LA?
Yes.
Just got back from the Dodger game or something? But we're talking about Jaws 2 today?
Yeah.
And Brandon, I'm curious, because we're not joking, right? You've never seen Jaws.
No, never.
Okay, I need to know, why don't you tell people, why have you never seen what is arguably Spielberg's masterpiece, arguably one of the great American films of the new Hollywood, the birth of the blockbuster? Why haven't you seen Jaws? Curious.
I feel like I've seen Jaws already through pop culture
Mm-hmm.
and Family Guy side gags.
Family Guy has ruined cinema. We know. We know. So it literally is just a thing. Just you've gotten enough cultural osmosis. You've just never had any interest in it.
Black like a doll's eyes.
Black like a doll's eyes.
Black
Yeah.
like a doll's eyes.
So just enough cultural osmosis. Just no interest in seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's some movies like that for me, but I still eventually got around to seeing it. That was The
Yeah.
Exorcist, But has that ever happened to you?
Avatar.
Avatar?
I refuse. We don't need an Avatar land in Orlando. Well, I mean, that makes sense over there. I mean, it's tropical, but we don't need one here at our Disneyland. Stop trying to shove Avatar down our throats.
You just hate James Cameron.
No, I love Titanic.
And?
Is that all I need?
I see. She hates Terminator.
Oh, I do love Terminator.
Okay,
But I don't need Avatar.
no one needs Avatar. But you came in for Jaws 2, right?
Blind.
Totally blind.
Completely
Totally
blind.
blind.
Now, there's a reason why we wanted you to watch this, because you're one of the few people on Earth now who have seen Jaws 2 and not Jaws. You're
Yeah.
probably one of 6 people.
Maybe. Possibly.
And I legitimately want to know, did you like it? Did the movie do enough to communicate what the story of Jaws was for you to enjoy it? Or was this just total nonsense?
Let me tell you something, Dean. This movie, I had a seltzer
Mm-hmm.
and a whiskey Dr. Pepper, a bourbon Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Was this like Italian Spider-Man all over again?
I had to pause the movie, turn it off, and go to bed because I was bored.
Wow.
I see.
And I
see.
woke up this morning and hit the gym,
Had to work yourself back up to the movie.
proceeded to take a shower, get ready to go into work today for a few hours on the holiday. And while I was sipping my coffee, I played the last 20 minutes of the film. I have come to the conclusion
Mm-hmm.
that the film is boring,
Mm-hmm.
quite possibly ass. But do we know what month this is? What is the month of June known for?
The month of June. This is
Pride.
Pride?
Wrong.
No?
Yes, it is Pride.
Oh.
But other Men's Mental Health Month. And I'd like to put on the table that Jaws 2 is ass, but it's a good Men's Mental Health Month movie. Think about this.
Brody's going through a lot.
It's about a man who's in denial of his PTSD, refuses to talk about it. And because of his refusal to talk about his PTSD of the shark, everyone just thinks he's crazy. And if he had just opened up to it, I think none of the movie happens.
That's a very astute observation. I
If
never thought about
Brody
it.
just says, hey, I'm still shook up about the shark. If he even tells the lady that comes to study the whale
Mm-hmm.
why he thinks it's a shark in the first place, instead of just pussyfooting around it, None of this happens. One person dies. 2 people. Everyone else doesn't.
Yeah.
Valid. You're cooking with fucking gas. Okay, I'm so down on
This
this
movie-
being fucking a PTSD film. All
This
right.
movie is about a man with PTSD in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
When you're supposed to be a masculine man that lets nothing bug you.
In a world of post Vietnam where a lot of people are dealing with like mental health and
And
PTSD,
all of a sudden, Jaws 2 looks really good.
this you're cooking with some gasoline, all right? Because I'm not gonna lie, coming out of this movie, it was dull was the word I would use.
Very dull.
Very dull. Boo.
This movie could be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you cut out just the fucking 5-minute montages and stuff
No.
that, you're
You
trimming
cut
10
out-
minutes
You
easy.
cut out
The kids.
not only the kids, you just cut out all of the underwater scenes, underwater shots where it's supposed to be the shark POV, but it's just a camera inside.
I like those underwater POVs.
There
You know,
was too many
the
of them.
green kelp. I was just like, I could fuck with this.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
They're very pretty. I give you that. But how much is in the of
It's
that
a
is
lot.
in the movie?
It's a lot.
It's about half an hour. I
Yeah.
think.
Is it like a half hour? I thought there was more of like the beach montage where you're just following
Probably-
people's
probably
asses and
about
kids
50
eating hot dogs.
Yeah, that was a little too long
About
too.
10 minutes of beach montage, but 30 minutes of just fucking shots from underneath. And it's not even like tracking shots. It's just, all right, put the camera down there. You got 5 minutes of it? Good. Move to the next spot.
Okay, did we get it? Yeah, but there was some kelp in the lens. Fuck it, we'll fix it in post.
Like
Fix it in post.
if you turn this movie from just a beat for beat, remake of Jaws,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right, into a study of a man's mind and dealing with PTSD.
You got something.
It gets
yeah.
better.
It
It gets
gets-
significantly better.
Yes.
Because
Like the parts with him dealing with his inner turmoil are the
Mhm.
best parts of the movie.
Oh yeah.
all the
Wh-
stuff with
when he's
his-
there with the cyanide and
Mhm.
trying to hide that from
Yeah.
everybody, it's just like Brody's not fucking around. He's he's ready to take on that shark, and it's just say something.
Yes.
when he's dealing with the mayor and the mayor is over here being like, you can't be sheriff anymore, like
Yeah.
because you're dealing with shit and no one here wants to acknowledge it, so it's better to just push you away and we'll get your deputy to be the sheriff
Yeah.
again. There's gas here. I like
Mhm.
this. Okay, but
But let's get back to
Let's-
what the movie actually
what the
is.
movie actually is, because here's the PTSD stuff is in the
Mhm.
movie,
Yeah.
but it's bogged down by
Everything else.
everything else. The biggest one I noticed, if you put a fucking hockey mask on the shark, this is a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
This is a straight slasher film.
You mean Bruce Jr.?
Yeah, Bruce Jr. That's another thing, right? So
Go see the second.
you've never seen Jaws, but you do know that the shark dies at the end, right?
Yeah. Well, so I know just the shark is blown up because
Yeah.
I've been on the Universal Studios tour.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Right. So
Just as good as the movie.
I noticed.
I
in
love the tour.
It's a great tour. I love it. It's a shame they got rid of King Kong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the OG or the 3D one?
They replaced never mind Fast and Furious. I think that's the part of the ride that's going.
Yeah, they
yeah.
just got rid of Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious. Who knows what they're gonna add now?
Family.
Family.
Dude, back in the day, I don't know if, because we're close in age, but I'm like a couple years older than you. Did you
Yeah.
ever go to Universal when it was still the animatronic King Kong with like the fire and pyro?
Mhm.
Okay, that was
Oh,
the
God.
coolest shit. And Becky, you have a story about that.
I do. Okay, so way back in the day, we were there for summer.
Yeah.
I was sitting like more towards the center of the tram,
Mhm.
and there was someone smaller, and they're like, "You need to switch because this
Oh,
child
no.
can't be near it." So we go through the King Kong, section, and it's awesome. Animatronics are cool. So the bridge starts to move back and forth. My phone goes sliding out of my pocket and onto the step, and I'm like, I need to move fast before it falls out. So I'm leaning. I'm trying to lean down to get it. He bucked the
Tram.
tram just a little bit hard enough. My phone went flying off the step and into the fire. I never saw my phone ever again.
Yeah. No.
When they replaced that section of the ride, I want to imagine they just picked up this charred kid's Nokia.
My
Still
dad
charred.
was so pissed. I was like, he was a few rows ahead of me. I'm like, Dad, I'm like, I lost my phone. And he's like, how? I'm like, it went into the fire. Like, what do you mean it went into the fire? So King Kong.
Womp womp.
Ain't got nothing on Nokia.
King Kong ate your phone.
King Kong ate my phone.
Jeez. But yeah,
yeah.
I do know. So I noticed in the beginning with the first attack,
Mhm.
they pretty much they do the trope of what killed the shark in the first one ain't gonna work with this one.
Yeah, they're in the orca thing, and then
I love we see the orca.
Yeah, I love the opening of the movie is
Mhm.
cool because there is like that suspense going on. There's
Yeah.
the divers are taking pictures of the orca, and that's what like, oh, these guys killed the shark in the last one, and the shark kills them, and then the first like real kill of it, which what is it? The first Jaws, like 3 people die in that movie.
Yeah.
Over the course of like the 2 hours, we get fucking 3 bodies in the first 20 minutes of this.
Well, that's why I was trying to pay attention to this movie because I've only seen it one other time, and it's been like 5 years. But I was trying to see what they pulled from the book that they didn't put into the first movie. And in the book, there's a ton of kills. So I think that's what they were trying to do with this one. And apart, with kind of slasher culture, you double up the bodies each movie.
There's a lot of bodies in this.
Yeah, a lot of them.
But I do like that because the first kill, like you're saying, is them just showing like lighting a shark on fire or blowing up isn't going to work. In this
Not with this one.
Not with this one.
This one's special.
Also, why did the woman just pick up the gas can and be like, pour
Yeah.
it on herself?
And it became a two-faced Brucey.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. He gets burned on one side. Just be like, this shark, this is the cool shark. This is the badass shark.
Look at Nolan. Nolan stole this.
If you live long enough,
Nolan
you see
saw
yourself become the villain.
Jaws. He saw Jaws 2 and was like, I like the way the shark.
This right here, this is what I'm really going for in the Dark Knight. We're gonna get some, bones.
You're Michael
right?
Caine all of a sudden.
It's hard to do a Nolan. It's easy to do a Caine. All right, I'm trying my
size
best.
of a tangerine, Mr. Wayne.
The size of a tangerine.
What'd you do? We burnt the forest.
All those push-ups, and you still can't lift a log off yourself.
Speaking of a trilogy that's just better than Jaws 2, but yeah, because the movie is just so schlocky, and I like schlocky movies.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, love
Schlock.
all of them. The pure schlock is Friday the 13th, right?
Schlocky.
I'm actually
A
curious.
schlocky mask.
Do you like schlocky stuff? Because you always strike
Brandon
me as...
only likes cinema.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Dude, every time we talk about movies or whatever, you're just like, yeah, watched Orson Welles' The Trial the other day. Just, that's a beer and popcorn movie right there. Oh, what'd you watch this weekend? Fucking Kurosawa double feature, man. That's just what I just wanted to chill, kind of turn my brain off, watch Yojimbo and shit. Yeah, so I'm curious, do you like schlocky stuff?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I have a odd palate, some would say.
Mm-hmm.
The range of the palate's very odd. I do like schlock. Yeah. It's weird.
That is the most like, yes, officer, I'm not drinking.
No, it's just I see schlock and I don't need to see it again. So I can't be like, oh, let me just put this on. It's just like, I've seen it. Like, I prefer rom-coms, rewatching rom-coms over schlock, right?
I see. Okay.
Like if I want to watch something new, like recently I finally watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
Great fucking movie.
Okay. Kiss Kiss Bang. Is that Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie, Robert Downing, right during that year where he was coming back. So
like right before Iron Man and like Zodiac
it
double year.
No, it was the same year of. It went. I think it's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Tropic Thunder, Iron Man, or however that.
Oh yeah, no,
like
that,
this
that
was
works
right
out.
as he was, Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a few others, but yeah, great movie. Yeah, November. I'll pitch that to you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dropping the seeds now. Gotta weave it in.
There we go. I'm always asked on in November. I'm like, shit.
Because you always bring the fire.
Yeah,
So,
dude. It's that eclectic taste, You're like,
then-
fucking pickles and mustard. That's the thing right there, baby.
I watch, Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna rewatch something, it either has to be like something that I love a lot or something that's easy.
Okay. And schlocky stuff
it's
is
like I see it it's pretty bare bones unless something cool fucking happens.
And in this movie, nothing cool happens.
No, this is just schlock. Like I said, it's a 2-hour movie. I got to the climax. I said, you know what? I'll finish this in the morning.
Why do you think it doesn't work? Again, we can get into this, right? I'm curious.
Do I need to do it?
Yes.
Jaws did not need a sequel. It
No.
should have just been a standalone film.
Definitely.
Yeah, because the first Jaws movies is very contained.
Yeah.
You know, they kill the shark at the end. Everyone who has an arc completes it.
Yeah.
There's nothing really going on. The only thing that this movie has to go on is that PTSD thing, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
here's a guy who saw a man eaten in front of him by a shark. He was basically stranded in the ocean, had to like go through this huge ordeal to save a town that for the most part kind of hates him.
Yeah, he's a prude.
He's a prude and no one wants him around. He's like, dude, you're not even from, you don't even go here. That's literally the town's mentality around him. And now he's like, oh my God, this thing that I thought was gone forever is coming back. Oh my God. Now, and no one listens to me. It's that is the driving like that's the juice of the movie. That's like worthy of continuing the story.
Yeah.
But the fucking teenagers.
We didn't need that.
Why are there so many like the teens and the sailboat stuff? Because Roy
they're-
Scheider can carry this movie on his
It's
own.
it's a slasher now.
It's a
What
slasher.
do you need in a slasher movie, Dean?
Well, here's the thing. It's 1978. This is the same year Halloween comes out. I think Halloween comes out after this. It's so weird.
So what we're saying is, not only is this a Men's Mental Health Month movie, but it's pioneering the slasher genre.
We're beyond the looking glass here, boys. All right.
Listen, we're finding every way to say this, talk about the movie without actually talking about the movie.
A little bit. Well, because the movie itself is
Boring.
it's dull. It's
Boring. It's not dull.
dull. Boring and dull are in the same room.
No. Boring is you can feel every minute of dull is like, okay, you know,
Dull, you'll finish it and just like have no interest in going
you
back
won't
to
remember
it.
a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be like, okay. Boring is you feel each and every minute of the movie, and you feel each and every minute. You're just,
One more, please. Thank you.
And then you're like, oh, we're done. No.
Okay, then I guess I want to know what makes this movie boring, or I guess what makes a movie boring to you? Because boring is subjective, right?
Begins with pacing.
Mhm.
Okay.
If your pacing is bad, you're already off to a bad start. Goes with length.
Mm-hmm.
This is a near 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thirdly, it's fine if you're gonna have long shots, montage. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you
But
you enjoy a long take or two.
Listen, I come from this. My directing style comes from the style of Mr. Wells and Kurosawa. My eye for things.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a long take. Even the long wide take where everything plays out and you just cut to your most important. I get that.
Mhm.
I am not a critic. I am a advocate for it. Okay? But this one, it's like we're just filling time for
Yeah.
the sake of filling time.
Mm-hmm.
And if this sequel was made now in the time where execs are like, we gotta get more showings in the theater,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it'd be an hour 20, an
Yeah.
hour 30 at most to get.
Well,
a
let's
mag-
be real. If it was made now, this would be a made for Peacock film.
But this in this world, right, where it is
Where
a sequel.
In this world where
Because,
theaters still matter, yes.
Because if Jaws was made today, let's call it would have been $1 billion hit, right?
It'd be like the Meg.
Yeah,
yeah.
a little more than the Meg.
Yeah, well, adjusting for
Because
the Jaws would have made, if we adjusted for inflation, Jaws would be
Well,
like
you
the
gotta-
biggest grossing movie of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you got to remember that because it's Spielberg, there was a artistic quality to it
Mhm.
that'll also not only hit with the plebeians, but like the snobs.
The plebeians.
The plebeians.
But I'm talking like, modern day where the technology is
Yeah.
better. And that's what Steven Spielberg's talked about,
Yeah.
where he's like, had I made it today, it would just be trash because
but
it's just
let's-
so much shark.
Let's say in the perfect world where
Yeah.
it just translate where he knows his boundaries to begin with. Like
Okay.
let's say he's like we're gonna keep it.
Basically, you re-release Jaws today,
Yeah.
and the zeitgeist still attaches to it like it did in
Mhm.
1975.
So then we get to
Okay.
Jaws 2, but the execs are like, hey, more money.
Yeah.
Where it's like we need more showings. It'd
Mhm.
be an hour and a half, so they can get that extra showing in every theater.
Mhm.
hmm
Just to make get the money. It would be a good sequel.
You'd go the Psycho route where it's, they had the screenings and then
Yeah.
like immediately after there was another screening waiting to go in. Just,
Yeah.
funneling people in and out of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So that's what would happen with this, right? Because they're like, it's a movie about a shark eating people.
And it's summertime.
We're only gonna get one shot at this.
Yeah, it is. I completely understand what you're getting at,
Mhm.
Now,
but the
wait,
thing
wait,
is,
wait,
like,
wait.
you-
I'm not
okay.
done
Oh,
saying.
Oh.
you're still going?
Okay,
My man
So-
did a line of coke before this. He's got a lot to get through, boys.
so we got pacing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got length.
Okay.
We got
The-
long.
attached in some ways. If a movie could be long, but if it's well paced, you don't notice it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Now you got the children actors.
Yeah.
The teen
And that's-
actors, yes.
And there were some children in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's children.
There's a few underage kids. Yes, yes.
And that's when you start getting to the territory of you either got to use them very little, or if
Mhm.
you're going to use them a lot, they better be fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fucking churn to get through every single one of those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes.
Some of them,
because
there's a couple of them that like, the one kid that has his little inflatable boat, when he's sinking.
You mean the dude from Christine?
Yes.
It's
Like
his
that-
first movie, by the way.
Mhm.
They
Jaws
have,
2.
They have moments.
hmm
But when it's like all of them, fucking around and hobnobbing in
Mhm.
the underage bar.
The biggest issue, I think, with the teen actors is all of them look alike. They're not distinguishable at all.
You couldn't tell. At times, I got confused between the son of Richard Shaw
or
Robert
Brody.
Shaw. Brody's son, right?
Robert Shaw was Quint. in
I
the
know.
first
You
one.
mean
This-
Roy Schneider.
this
I
is
don't know,
Roy Schneider. Is that Roy Schneider? He's
One
the
of these
from
white
all that
guys.
jazz.
One of these indistinguishable white men.
Roy Scheider ain't white in this. Roy Scheider is a golden oak in this movie. Are you kidding?
I
That
know.
man is so tan.
With some nice hoochie shorts too.
Listen, that wasn't hoochie shit. That was just the shorts back then.
They were the shorts. I keep convincing Dean, you got to get a pair of those shorts.
Roy Scheider, hot or not, we may never know.
But
He's got a great build.
it's good.
He
Was tall. I saw
Yeah.
them arms when he's like after he gets fired. His arms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you're,
Okay, Chief.
Chief's gonna go out into the ocean and just strangle the shark.
But
I get what you mean because the kids like the Michael character who's
Yeah.
Brody's son.
yeah,
I lost track of him
indistinguishable
so
from
often.
the rich kid that
Yeah.
that wants the cousin, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
The other guy that like, oh man, I want her, and oh, what does he get? Like that whole thing.
Mhm.
They're indistinguishable from each other sometimes.
And then the Stuart Gordon, the nerdy kid, he in the first scene he's like goes up to his buddy and he's like, "She'll never go out with me. I wear glasses. I got curly hair. I'm skinny." And I'm like, "You are literally describing the guy next to you." And now that you mention it, I can't really tell you two apart.
No,
If you guys are in a wide shot, you're lost. I don't know who you are.
exactly.
The generification of the kids
And that's-
is an issue.
And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
If their dialogue is snappy,
Yeah.
keep it moving, boom,
It's a lot more jokey, and
jokey.
they
But
build a
it's
characterization.
So fucking generic, like, ho ho ho, look at you, loser, you're grounded. I'ma take her, ha ha ha.
I don't want to go
It's-
out with her. She has sparrow tits. What does sparrow tits
Flat
mean?
chested.
I wouldn't describe that girl as flat chested though.
And-
Flat as a board.
In the 70s.
The 70s, the
That was
peak
way before
era.
our time.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just boring. There was nothing to like. There was no shining moments.
Mhm.
like sure we get Roy Schneider. He got his thing right.
Yeah, he actually has a characterization to work with.
Yeah.
But then we cut to this bullshit.
Yeah, because I mean, I love that they focused more on his relationship with his wife too, and it's like, do that, do the drama. You still have the suspense.
It's like after we get to, it like shifts to the teenagers.
Yeah.
Like by the I want to say because I got bored when I got bored at 40 minutes in.
40 minutes in, that would have been around
when he gets when he grounds the teenagers and
yeah, but basically that's when the teenagers start actually making like full plot pushes, right? Because it's really weird because this movie I'm pretty sure you can guess had a troubled production.
Of course
it did.
Exactly, because the first director for this was John D. Hancock, right? And he basically got his bones doing like smaller indie dramas. He did stuff where it was like a lot more talky and stuff like that. And he helped develop everything and get basically going. He does a month of production. The studio was like, where's all the fun action shit? This is way too dark and sad, and fired his ass. And then they get this guy.
The PTSD thing.
Exactly. And then they get this guy, Jeanette Sawarek. We'll go with that pronunciation. And he's like a director of like the Supergirl movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And they were like, you can do like effects and you'll make it a lighter, funner, more adventurous tone. And from my understanding, that's where all the teenager stuff comes from. That's where all that adventure and the explosion and stuff comes from.
Well, yeah, because he wanted to do car culture, with the kids cruising. He wanted like American Graffiti. And it's just like,
God.
it's like we don't need that. I mean, the boats on the water, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful imagery, the contrast.
There's a great shot, right, of Brody with the big walkie-talkie phone, and you see the police boat out. It was I said, we got my other.
There's an eye here.
There's an eye here. There's an eye in the dark lab when he's.
Oh yeah.
That's the best scene in in the dark lab where it's just this beautiful like it slowly
it's a slow push in,
and then as cutting back to the photo finally developing.
I was watching the movie with my mom and she's like, does that take you back? I'm like, I can smell the chemicals in the dark room. I'm like, my god, I'm back home.
But that was the best scene in the movie, and then we cut to crap.
Well, that scene of Brody in the boat and like the lighthouse, the aerial view.
Yeah.
That was from Joe Alvis, the man that created the shark, because he was the co-director, I think, or co-producer on this film.
He was the second unit director, so all like the stuff with the shark effects and all the underwater stuff, I think, was him, and then he might have been an executive producer.
And then he was doing some of the cinematography too, so that was his shot.
Sometimes you're just better off with what you specialize in.
But we met the man. He was very nice.
Well, good for him.
You were not impressed by his cinematic vision in Jaws 2?
He might make a good photography book.
Oh, no, he does. We have it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But as a man of making a motion picture image, it's lacking.
I see.
Like, we know people that can have a frame in their head, right? But when it comes down to making it work in motion, they kind of there's a
disconnect
lacking.
there, right?
Like I can think of a great first frame, but this is a film, and you got 24 frames in a second.
You got to keep going,
and so now you got to think of, okay, what's the next frame within the scene?
It's the whole thing where it's like you can have a good image in your head, but then it's like, well, then you have to add the actors in. Actors move. There's blocking there.
Yeah.
Is there blocking going to change the framing?
Or
are you going to move the camera to follow it, and that will reframe your shot?
Or if you're going to shoot beautiful single frame images, how are your wides going? Are you going to use any wides? That's fine if you want to shoot everything in a wide, so everything's a beautiful image. How are your close-ups going to be? Like there's things that go into just more than, hey, this is a great screen cap. One of those on Instagram. I can't believe this movie looks so good. Then you go to watch that movie and you're like, it looks good when I press pause. Then I gotta press play.
There was a movie that we watched in film school that Laura showed us, and it was
me and Alex hate that movie.
Which movie
La
was
Cienega.
La Cienega. At the end of the movie, I literally said, "What the fuck was this?" Like out loud. Like she heard me, and she was like, "Oh, whatever."
The Swamp.
Yeah. And it's a movie where if you pause it, it's like, oh, this is like a really pretty image, or it's like, oh, there's like some cool stuff going on. But if you watch the movie, it's like it's
a foreign movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say South American.
Yeah, it might be in like Bolivia or something like that.
It's on Spanish.
Yeah.
Subtitles. It's about this family, old wealth family. I want to say, I can't recall correctly, but they're just a bunch of dirt bags, most of the family. And it's just it's so. She shows it because it's during our sound design segment in that class.
And the movie has, giving it its dues, it has a very strong soundscape.
Yeah.
Strong sound design, right?
But it's so fucking boring. So fucking garbage.
I remember watching it, and
it's one of her only lecture classes.
It's one of the only ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember because we had the guy in the class, the older dude, Joseph, who was from, like, I think South America or something like that, and he was like, oh, yeah, I know this. Those kids who were coming in from the village or from the mountains. Yeah, I knew those kids. They used to go and have sex with goats. And I'm like, we all turned around, like, what the fuck did you just say, dude? He said that in class. It was weird. But none of that is like Jaws 2. I don't think any of these kids are having sex with goats.
Having sex with each other.
Well, trying to, and then, you get eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Poor sharks. But, Boo.
Yes.
Did you find this movie boring?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I mean, it's been a long time. I was trying to do a Jaws marathon one year, and I just couldn't get past 2. I was like,
2 was where you stopped.
2 was where I stopped. I think I got like maybe 5 minutes into 3, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. But I enjoyed it a lot more this watch. But yeah, the kids did nothing for me. I mean, I understand the route that they were trying to go with, but it was unnecessary. If we just kept it a drama and, kept it with the adults and then
PTSD.
Exactly. You keep it with that. You keep it with the PTSD. You keep it with their relationship. And then maybe you put their kids in peril.
Yeah.
And then, like a slasher movie, use the other kids as, fodder.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's like we didn't really need to focus on it because there was nothing that they really brought. You're not going to bring me any emotion that Matt Hooper brought me, any emotion that Quentin brought me. It's just a bunch of kids that want to go sailing and the shark's back or Junior's back.
Do you think that's something that the movie is lacking, is the relationship from the first movie between like Brody and Hooper and Brody and Quinn?
Oh, definitely.
It feels like Brody needs somebody to bounce off of in this film, and there's no one there.
And they mention it. They're like, Hooper is, out on a mission and he's not going to be back until like next year. And it's just like, okay, well, you name dropped him, so we have an Easter egg and there's no hope. Brody's going to have to do it on his own. There's no one else to back him on this. So it's like, yeah, he needed somebody to kind of, bounce off of.
Or at least another character to like engage with him in the hunting of the shark, right?
I mean, even if you throw Ellen in there, it's, him and his wife to go save the kids. And it's just, okay, I've got to keep my wife safe. I've got to keep my kids safe. I need to survive this and kill the shark. You've got, excitement and you've got a thriller right there.
But it just doesn't. It feels like the movie is missing the magic of it.
Yes.
You were talking about the framing and in that the thing about like a Spielberg movie, right?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, very good at finding that next frame, finding the movement, blocking actors.
All right, here's our first image. Now, by the time we move over to the next image,
we have 4 perfect frames all along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's great at blocking actors and building like these character moments, stuff like that. Like Steven Spielberg has the fucking movie magic, right?
He has the feel.
The feel. And this is weird because you've never seen the first Jaws movie.
Well, I know a Spielberg.
You know
movie.
Spielberg movie, right? But is that the issue that's here? If you gave Steven Spielberg the same script, right? Do you think he turns this from okay, I'm not gonna give this an F. This isn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but like a C, a D plus
C
movie,
minus.
a D plus or a C minus movie. Does he elevate this up to like a good B picture?
Yeah, but he knows when enough is enough. So there's a reason why he's not back.
Yeah.
True. He adamantly did not want to do a sequel to this. Spielberg hates doing sequels to all of his movies except Indy, and he only did that because he basically agreed with George Lucas.
Yeah.
You know, it was basically a homie deal for fucking all those Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, well, and they both liked serials. So, in Indiana Jones, although they are sequels, they're more self-contained. You know, they're built like the old 1940s action serials where it's like, here's your same guy, but none of the stories really have to do with each other. It's just another adventure. And
you can realistically watch any of the indie movies out of the first three, because the other two he's much older. You can watch the first three in any order and you're pretty good. Right?
I mean, one of them's a prequel, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Is that Temple of Doom?
No.
Or which one's the prequel?
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade's a prequel? See, they're so self-contained. I didn't even notice.
Exactly.
Didn't even know.
Yeah.
But the Spielberg magic, right? The Spielberg touch. I've asked you before.
Well,
are you a Spielberg guy, like at all?
am I like a super fan?
Or okay, do you
like I appreciate the man?
Do you appreciate the man?
Obviously, like as we were talking about, like he knows how to find the frame. All those Indiana Jones movies literally goes beautiful frame into beautiful frame into beautiful frame into beautiful frame, right?
E.T.
E.T. There you go. Close Encounters.
Close Encounters. Even up to like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Solid Gold. He's making like pretty banger movies up until like, you can say now Fabelmans is a good movie.
Yeah, Fabelmans was really good.
But I guess the thing
and it was filmed right down the street.
Oh yeah, it was. It was filmed right down the street at Monty's Camera Shop in Whittier. Not sponsored, but
they're never open.
They're
Guys,
open.
open.
They're never open. I
And
swear.
in Old Town La Puente down the street from me.
That's right.
It was filmed in Old Town La Puente. # not sponsored. But I wonder if it's the thing. Like, can you just feel the loss of Spielberg in this?
Yeah.
Because this feels very studio centric. Because Spielberg didn't want to come back for the sequel. Fucking hated it. But the
Schneider
studio
didn't want to come back either.
Yeah, Roy Scheider just refused to come back until he quit The Deer Hunter. And he was like, I have to do Jaws 2 so they'll let me out of my fucking contract. Could you imagine that fall from grace being like, I was going to be in the fucking Deer Hunter and now Jaws 2.
Sometimes you just can't outplay your hand. You know, sometimes you think you have a little more juice than you do, and then you're in Jaws 2.
Which is weird because Roy Scheider still does like good work at this is the one time where I'm like, I can't believe this schlocky movie has like an Oscar-worthy actor just in there while he's still like movie star level quality.
That's why the like his personal moments, right, with the fear, like they work so well. Because he still got, has his little Oscar winning
he's still got the
sauce.
juice.
Yeah.
It's not like other actors once they get to a certain age or certain level or a certain era
giving a fuck.
Yes, the Bruce Willis of it all.
Yeah.
But it's like you can feel the Spielberg magic's not here. You can feel this is just a studio product, and it does just feel so hollow.
Should I
after
say
a while.
it? Do you want me to say it?
Yes, say it again.
Jaws was lightning in a bottle. The lightning's gone. Hell, even the bottle's broken.
Fucking facts. Like, what made Jaws so good that this movie cannot replicate? Is it literally just like the Spielberg of it all? Like
the Spielberg, it's the cast, it's it's the original idea.
You put a great artist, and you put him in a box with very tight constraints, right? Time constraints, prop constraints. And so he found a way to make that tight box look into this multi-million-dollar tiny home, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't know what I can do here. Don't want to play in this space again. bounced.
Mm.
The studio said, "Hey, we're going to open up the constraints a bit. Come back." He said, "No, I want to work on a new canvas.
I'm doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind right
Yeah.
now. Go fuck yourself.
So we'll hire this guy. This guy wants to do. He's too artsy.
He wants to do something a little too dark, a little
Yeah.
too deep.
We
Nah.
want a fun summer romper."
Mm-hmm.
And so we gave this guy, he makes schlock, and we're gonna give him, a playground, a kindergarten play, a fun house at McDonald's. Right? There's
yes.
constraints, but we're gonna have fun.
The 90s McDonald's.
There you go.
Back when fucking McDonald's had a soul.
And
Not
guess
now.
what? And guess what? It's fun, but you're there too long, you get over it very quickly.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, watching the movie, because don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
was bored by it.
You got over it very quickly.
I got over it. But it's still
Especially
a thing.
when you've seen it before.
Yes. I've seen Jaws before. I've seen the slashers that this, I guess, inspired. I
Yeah.
don't know. Or at least that pulled from the same cloth here. But, like, I was bored by it. But I didn't get to a point where I was like, no, this isn't worth it, and turned it off. I never got
That'll
to...
be 3D.
Is that 3D?
Oh boy, and I haven't even seen The Revenge, so I don't know how we're gonna get through.
Listen, I would like to pitch now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to come on for the Revenge.
Oh.
Oh, you want
I
to come
see,
back?
I
Okay.
see.
As I was reading the Wikipedia on this, like Dean does for every
Mhm.
film,
Every film. Wikipedia, the greatest film critic.
is a direct sequel to this. And I think it'd be hilarious for me just to watch 2 and 4.
Okay.
Just to have as little context as possible.
So, but I have enough context for 4 with 2.
I see.
You know?
Okay.
Honestly, that kind of sounds funny. Because, again, I'm just so fascinated that this is the direction they were going in. And also that this is just your context for what this fucking franchise is.
Yeah.
It's just like schlocky bullshit that has like, there's something in there. There's something
But
in
doesn't
there.
this happen with great movies all the time? You know, we get these masterpieces and it's the studio heads that don't really understand and don't really want to care about the art of it. And they're just like, yeah, throw whatever, okay, you're back on the same island.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to love that. That's going to be enough for them. Roll with it. And it's like, no, it wasn't just the island. It was, the performances. It
So
was the fear.
Your potential modern day equivalent would be like Sinners, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something that just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Made a bunch of money,
Made a bunch of
critically
money.
acclaimed. Everyone loves it.
Loves it.
Mhm.
I mean, it could get to the point where it gets overhyped.
Yeah.
But right now, it's kind of at that happy medium where it's like too much hype over it. Come Oscar season, people are going to start tearing it apart. But
Yeah.
like for right now, right? Sinners. And let's say for some reason Coogler didn't sign the contract he did, but
Mhm.
didn't come back for a sequel.
Mm.
Um,
He's like, I said all I needed to say for the first one. You guys own the rights to the movie, but you don't own the rights to me. I'm going to go off and make Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we get some schlocky thing, here's smoke during his years, but between the end the posting post credit scene
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and when he takes off, we see their lives, right?
Yeah.
And it's just some schlocky, him killing other vampires.
They basically just make Blade, but it's 1930s.
It's Blade minus the blade. No, it'd be not 30s. Let's say,
Would it be the 40s?
because the movie takes place during the Prohibition. So
No,
let's
Prohibition is the
so-
30s.
Yeah, so let's say it takes place. He's in Europe during World War II. He
Mhm.
re-enlists again
Oh,
to relive the times.
wait,
him and
I'm
his bro-
almost ready. Okay. I can see the movie now. Start. Okay.
he re-enlists him and without Haley Steinfeld. It's just him.
Just him.
Okay,
He
there's
go-
Haley right there.
you know,
Okay.
She's staying behind. He
Mhm.
goes off because he misses his brother, and he thinks about when they were in the trenches for World War One.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "Yeah, it's time to go kill the real vampires, the Nazis." And it becomes Inglorious Bastards, but black.
Okay, Inglorious Bastards, but black, and the Nazis they're fighting are vampires.
Exactly.
No. Because it's a sequel, so it needs to be a new monster. So they're not vampires; they're
Werewolves.
Frankensteins. Because Frankenstein's German.
Yeah.
They're making a super soldier.
But Frankenstein's monster was so sweet.
Yes.
Not no damn Nazi.
No. That's the thing. They have the actual Frankenstein's monster, like in Van Helsing, and they're using him to synthesize new ones. So they have to get.
You mean Atomic Superman?
Atomic Superman, and then the AI Bela Lugosian to be the scientist, right? And then now you have Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, to come
Frankenstein
and fight them, and then you realize this is a DC Universe movie launching into the Justice League
my
Dark.
God.
Holy shit! I need to get James Gunn on the phone. Oh my god, boys, we have an idea.
Well, you see the vision, right?
I see it.
So
Are you okay?
I'm so excited right now. I just saw this movie in my head. This is a banger. I just made up the greatest movie of all time. How is no one excited about this?
Well, I think Brandon helped you just a little bit.
Brandon gets writing credit. All right, we'll take it.
Don't worry, I'm used to my friends taking full credit on awards, Alex.
Yeah, it'll be fine. He did it. Why can't I do it?
But yeah, it'd be like, kind of similar thing if it went, in a modern, if we had to pick a movie that came out of nowhere
Yeah.
and then the original mind behind it took off.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to keep Michael B because he signed it. In this world, he signs a bad contract and he has to be in for the sequel. Right?
Yeah.
Because he probably thought in his head, oh, a sequel? Cool. Of course, Cooler's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He made
Kuzma-
Black Panther 2. And he wants to do a third one.
He's like, I'm here for it. Hell yeah, I'm here for it.
In my honest opinion, I think Coogler should just get away from Marvel.
Well, I mean, isn't the ongoing thing that any director who views himself as an artist should just get away from Marvel in general?
Because I 1 and 2, Black Panther, both of them would be, in my opinion, the weakest in his catalog filmography. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that because they don't look pretty, they don't look good. The CG and they're too CG heavy,
Yeah.
right? And so someone of him where he got to kind of show off his eye for framing and with Sinners, it's okay, maybe unless they're gonna give you free autonomy
Mm-hmm.
to do how you want to make it look,
Mhm.
they didn't even let Sam Raimi do his thing.
That broke my heart a
So
little
if Sam
bit.
Raimi can't do his thing, and they want you to stick to the basic way that the Russo brothers shoot things, then I think you should go. I get you like the character,
Yeah.
but whatever you want to say, you won't be able to do because you guys stay in the constraints of this, corporate marketing machine.
And the issue is now Marvel is tightening the reins on their IPs drastically because we are in a content war with DC, Marvel,
Not only content war. I think they saturated their own market for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? They had a surmountable lead,
Mm-hmm.
like Star Wars, oversaturated.
Yeah.
Marvel, beyond set. We had shows for side characters that didn't need shows.
We had shows for side characters that were not in any movies
Mhm.
and that never will show up in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, you saturated your own market, and now you got to tighten up the belt for your main things, because now you got to pay an overpriced RDJ to reappear.
To play Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Anyone excited for Doctor Doom? Anyone?
It's a damn
No?
shame that whatever Doctor Doom that'll be in Fantastic Four is probably not going to be the same Doom.
No.
But yeah, and even the Fantastic Four one, it's the most people are excited for it because of how different it looks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Pedro Pascal.
Yes, although
The ladies love Pedro.
We do.
it does suffer from Marvel needs more practical sets.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? You oversaturate something. So Marvel is
Well, there's also the thing where a lot of the Marvel stuff, they shoot without scripts for a lot of them. Or not without scripts,
here's
but
the thing, right?
broad
what
outlines for a lot
confuses
of it.
me about Marvel. You're going to use these same same locations,
Mm-hmm.
these same settings. It's a comic book world.
Yeah.
And you're going to shoot a gazillion fucking things. Just build them.
Mm-hmm.
Just have the practicals lying around because you're gonna come in and out of these a
You're
bunch.
You're literally just churning them out. That's why older movies aged better than modern movies,
Mhm.
like modern, let's say, schlock films, right?
Mhm.
Because you have things you can feel in your head. I can feel that wall.
Yeah.
I can feel how the heat's coming off of the skyscrapers, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
With, like, you know, your modern schlock. That's why Sinners is so different. It's all practical. They
Mhm.
went out there, and if you can feel all the bullshit, right?
You can feel that bullshit. I miss the bullshit.
But like, you look at some, you know, look, and it's just like, huh, I don't like how this looks. Like, you can feel the cheapness, right? There, it's soulless.
But Jaws 2, even though it's a little soulless, you feel the sand. It's a real
Okay,
place.
Anakin.
Okay, well, Jaws 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this movie we don't
Look how
like.
boring this movie
right?
is. We went on a tangent.
We talked about dude. We crafted the greatest film of all time. All right, we did that. We did that in this room. All right.
Jaws 2 helped.
Jaws 2 helped.
Bruce Jr. helped that.
Bruce Jr. helped.
Brucey.
But we can shit on Jaws 2 for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But there is things in this movie that are good that I did like.
Yeah.
You know, Roy Scheider, even though
Best thing about it.
basically
Mhm.
about it, you can tell he doesn't want to be here, but you can't. I don't feel that.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, a lot of like the adult actors that are reprising their roles, him, the mayor,
Ellen,
Ellen,
the cop, whatever his name
the
is.
deputy,
The deputy, though.
they feel lived in. But you
Yeah.
know, they're coming back from, you know, previously doing these, but they feel like lived in and nice. And I'm like, okay, no, I like the performances of all the adult characters. These feel really like built up when they're at the dance, and you know,
Yeah.
she's like, you
Act
want to
like
go
you've been here the entire time.
act like and she's like, hey, you want to, you know, get out of here and go full around, and he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, that's just a cute moment.
That's a married couple.
I
yeah.
love the moments, like the morning after he got fired, he's walking around the house, cigarette in hand, just like, you know,
I love that shot when they're leaving the house because he's got to go return the car.
yeah.
And then just the beer cans on the floor. And she's just like, really? And he's like, you know, I got fired, you know?
It's Brody is just looking for an excuse to get shit faced. Oh yeah, you know, it's Tuesday. That's wine day. All right, that's a bottle and a half.
He's like, I got to go return my cruiser. I'm going to go get fucked up afterwards. You want to come with? I guess.
yeah, you know, better
He's like,
better or worse.
What are your
you know?
plans? Well, I got to return a truck and probably gonna get drunk and then go punch your
Boss in the
principal
face.
boss in the
in the
face.
I probably should put my resignation in.
Mhm.
No, we might need the income.
See, moments like that, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, give me more of that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
little like personal moments, the family moments, the stuff where it's these actors.
There's glimmers of hope which make this movie feel even worse.
Yeah, and
Because, I mean, considering the time that Jaws came out, you know, how many people went back to go see the movie over and over
Yeah.
again because, you know, there's no streaming, there's no VHS, there's nothing.
back when movies were movies, goddamn it,
Exactly.
you paid your 15 cents and saw a film, or I guess in '70s it'd be like
It
a
was-
buck
It was a
25.
few dollars probably.
Yeah.
But, you know, people have seen that first movie enough
Yeah.
that if they come back and they're a little bit older to see Jaws 2, they're going to know who Brody is, his wife is, you know, the mayor. So it's not going to be oh man, we're stuck watching, you know, the old people. It's, oh no, that's Chief Brody and Chief Brody's wife. And who's this asshole? Oh, that's, you know, his wife's boss. What's his problem? So it's like, you know, you're able to kind of have that relationship instead of, we just got to, you know, keep killing people in the water every 2 seconds. It's like, no, we don't need that.
And that's the thing. There's good shit in here that is just drowned out. And it's not even a thing where it's drowned out by bad. It's diluted by boring. Like nothing in this movie I would look at and say, the cinema gods frown upon this frame. This is the darkest day of Kino life. No, there's nothing in here that's like awful that I'm like, this is offensive. This is just garbage. It's just, man, there's just like a lot of stretches of shit I just do not care about. Even the schlocky parts, when she lights herself on fire
It was
and
so-
jumps into it, it's schlocky and dumb, but I'm like, that's a pretty good effect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's a real.
it's a good explosion.
That's
Yeah.
a good explosion. I'm like, that's a real stunt woman on fire. Oh, that's a real fucking animatronic shark that's on fire on this boat, and it's framed really well with the horizon line, and that's
I-
good looking shit.
I love that they kept, you know, with the sharks attacking the boat or the shark attacking the boat. both.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like, that's in the book, that's in the first movie. It's like, I love that we keep that. Oh, okay, that's his origin story. That's how he gets, scarred up, and we're able to, differentiate that this is a different shark. This isn't the original shark. But yeah, there's things in here that kind of bog down what could have been.
And John Williams phoned in the score. He phoned this in.
Okay, we talked about this last time.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the score last time.
John Williams, the GOAT composer of cinema, this score is not up to his standards.
I think if you looked at his filmography, you can find a bunch of them where you're probably like, no, you just phoned this in.
Because, you open and it's the Jaws theme. I was like, okay. And then I was shocked when they showed John Williams. Like, okay, so they're not just, going back into the vault and we're going to take,
He made new things.
He made new things.
Well,
but
new.
Yeah.
Reimagining.
Yeah. But it's nowhere near on par as the first movie.
He said, all right, I'm here for the check.
Yeah, it was probably, Steven's not coming back. Most of the cast isn't coming back. Like, all right, sure, we'll do that.
I mean,
Star Wars coming up, buddy.
That is actually Star Wars
have,
was Star Wars the year before this? 77?
77. So yeah, he could have been scoring Empire.
Oh, that's honestly, that would make a lot of sense. Because, okay,
he said,
don't be wrong. The score of this is not bad, but it's not fucking Star Wars.
Anyone
it's not Raiders. Yes. If you gave a composer like, give me a John Williams-y score, this is probably what they'll make.
It would be like, all right, we're gonna reuse at the beginning, old good one for old reliable, and then you just kind of do something similar.
Yeah.
Do an interpretation of
the adventure theme, or like the I get
the
what
barrel
you mean.
chase.
The barrel chase. I love that little touch. There is fun little touches in this where when Brody comes home, there's the barrel in front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the barrel from the first movie. It has a little plant on it. I'm like, oh, that's cute. I
have no context for this barrel, by the way.
Exactly. Brandon's looking at this, being like, "What fucking barrel are you talking about? Fucking what?"
See, isn't this the best thing? I'm watching it as a movie.
Yes.
Not as a sequel.
Yes.
And
how
does
it do as a sequel?
Actually, that's an interesting point, right? Because you said Jaws does not need a sequel.
Yes.
Right? And you've never seen the first one.
No.
Would you consider this a good jumping on point? Like, you know how
so you heard my critique of it at the start.
Yes.
And now think about that again, that critique again as, oh, you've never seen the first one.
Exactly, yes.
So, as a film, it is completely boring.
Okay.
And for you guys...
I might have asked the wrong question.
And for you guys who have seen the movie, the first one, it's not boring. Because we
have the context.
You have the context, and you're like, there's just enough nipple on the hook.
Mm-hmm. There's enough bait on that hook.
Enough bait on the hook for you to try to keep biting at it, hoping that something will happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what stops it from being boring. For you, it's dull, right?
Yes.
Because you kind of like, all right, something's going to happen. Like
there's enough Jawsy stuff in here where
for
I'm
me,
like,
it's like, this is fucking boring, chef. Because I have no attachment at all. I'm going in, blind. Now, if I watch The Revenge, I might,
You might look back on Jaws 2 being like, dude, fucking Jaws 2 kind of slapped. Dude, what would it take? How bad would Jaws 4 have to be for you to look back on Jaws 2 and be like, fucking banger?
It needs to be, I need to turn it off and come into that.
Or does Jaws The Revenge need to be so bad that you'll go back and watch the original?
No.
No, nothing?
Refuses to watch Jaws. Refuses.
The Revenge.
I gotta see how I can break them.
The Revenge would have to be I'd have to turn it off before I even get to the climax and be like, you know what? And come into this recording session and be like, you know what, guys? I want to tell you about why I think Jaws 2, I might have underrated it.
We need you on Jaws 4. We need this. I need to see this.
Yeah.
It'd be so good if it's like a thing where you start the movie, you get 10, you don't even get far into it. You get 10 minutes in and you show up and be like, sorry guys, I couldn't do it. And then you just walk out. You're like, what the fuck? The bits. But I guess that does bring up the question. Is this a good sequel? Because Boo, you love Jaws.
I do.
You're wearing the shirt.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
You might have the socks on.
No, not today.
Rare if true. You have the popcorn bucket.
I do.
You love Jaws.
I do. I love Bruce.
If you want more Jaws,
Yes.
right? Would this scratch your itch for more Jaws? We get more Brody. We get more Ellen the Mayor.
It would get me into the theater, but that would probably be like a one-time thing. I would just go back for when they start screening the original again.
So there's not anything in this movie where you're like, okay, now this justifies its existence.
It's just Brody and Ellen. I mean, you cut down all the teenagers in this and you get two, child actors to be their children and really, get good actors that can bring that emotion. Sure. Keep it a family drama.
I think that's probably what the original intent of this was, because it does feel like it's a movie in two halves.
Yeah, because I mean, not knocking any of the children actors or the
Go
teen
ahead, knock 'em.
actors, but it's like
They're old and dead by now.
could
I
be.
don't know if they're dead
Old.
yet,
old,
but they're
old,
old. They're
old.
old. They're old enough to
Old
be your parents. Yes.
Old and or dead by now.
But I mean, even the Brody brothers, there's nothing there that makes me feel like they're siblings.
No.
It's just kind of like your Cheerios. Oh, can I come with you? Yeah, I guess you could come with me. It's the Steven Spielberg effect where you get like the kids in E.T. where the kids are just break your heart. And with this movie, it's just kind of like you've got that little boy on the boat and the shark is circling. I'm not really feeling anything. I'm like, obviously I don't want him to get eaten, but it's just I'm not given that emotion of he's in peril, he's in trouble. You need to help him. It's just kind of like, all right,
Womp womp.
Yeah. Like the island's right there.
Yeah.
No, it's literally right there, guys. Just get off and swim and,
Yeah.
hopefully you don't get eaten.
The climax dragged on way too long.
I was surprised that was,
It was like
the climax they were going for.
It's like a 25-minute climax.
It's so long because
I'll give you, though, the girl that gets eaten when she's protecting the little boy, the youngest Brody, that one, I was just like, that's fucked.
Yeah.
That is so fucked. So I'm like,
some of the kills in this are good.
That's why I'm like, yeah, I just feel gutted for him because I mean he's got the Brody POV of watching this girl get eaten in front of him, and it's like, oh, you're gonna be so messed up forever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you survive this, you're gonna be so messed up forever.
And that's it again. Moments where I'm like, that's good. Okay, this kid is fucking traumatized,
and you have history repeating itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brody Jr. is now gonna go through the PTSD of his father.
Yeah,
There again, nuggets of gold in here.
Moments.
But yes,
Glimmers of hope.
glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
But yes, that climax is so long because here's the thing. Watching the movie, it has this slasher
'Cause-
logic to it. I'm like, these teenagers are gonna all be dead by the end of it.
Bruce Jr. eats a helicopter.
He does eat a helicopter. Yeah. Which fucking what?
But fine, have a long climax. The way it ends is such a dud.
Oh god.
There's no moment where there's no moment where you get to see Brody finally like, hey, you were right.
Yeah, he doesn't get the satisfaction.
You literally just, hey, I got my kid again.
Yep.
It's the same with the first movie too. He doesn't get the satisfaction because it's him. Oh well, you haven't seen the first movie.
I've seen the first movie. It's Jaws 2.
He's seen Jaws too.
He has seen Jaws too.
The-
But I mean, it's him and Hooper swimming into shore. But you don't get that. Shit, he was right. He fought off the shark. He helped kill the shark. Brody just keeps kind of like, all right, keep getting thrown in there. Let me take care of this.
But you have a group of kids. It's not like just you and one other guy, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
Saying, hey, we did it. And, you just hope that, no, you got a group of people here saying, we watched our friend get eaten by sharks. There were sharks. Boom, boom, boom.
Also, we have a group of traumatized teenagers being like, "Can we go home now?
I'm never getting in the water ever
We're
again.
not celebrating.
you-
we are traumatized."
There is no ending that justifies the length, right? It literally is like, oh shit, we're out of time.
The ending that could have justified or the ending that I was waiting for.
Yeah.
whatever. The big climax
we're
that
back
happens.
in town.
The boat comes up. Brody's there. All the kids run up. They're all going to
The
their families or
family
whatever.
members.
He reunites with his
Wife
wife
and
or
son.
whatever. Right. The mayor comes up to him. He's like, "Well, me and the boys talked about it. We think maybe you should be sheriff." And then he looks at the mayor and says, "Go fuck yourself." Punches him out, and they walk off into the sunset.
Or like, hey, like, but you're right, blah blah blah. Thank you, Chief Brody. A sly way of saying
You're back.
You're back in.
yeah.
The acknowledgement of you were right. The town accepts you. We were wrong.
Yeah. Especially if this is the last time you're gonna get
Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he could have been, a big fuck you. You just fired me. I'm not going out there. I'm not helping. Right off the bat, I'm jumping into that boat and I'm taking off. I don't care if I don't have the credentials anymore. I don't mess with the water. He's just, I'm out there and I'm going to go rescue my kids and whoever's out there. And it's like, that's a chief.
I get that. I think I'd want like a high noon ending where the mayor and everybody's like, Brody, you did it. Yeah. And then he's like, yeah. And now you guys can take care of the next one. And he just
That
walks
works
off
too,
with the
yeah.
family. Like, I wanted the ending where Brody is finally like, I have proven myself right in spite of all of you hating me. And now I'm done. I've won.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all. Good day. That's the ending I want. And the ending we get is just like,
yeah.
he defeated the thing. He wins his kid back. Credits roll. And I'm like, what? Is that seriously? That's it?
He deserved his
Okay.
hero's welcome.
A little bit. There was no like comeuppance. There was no like he defeated that smarmy mayor who didn't really have his back, or he defeated the council that fired him. It just ended.
It's weird, especially for a blockbuster, right? Like, for example, like Pale Rider has one of those endings where it just kind of ends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
He rides off into the mountains.
But for that type of movie, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But for a blockbuster, you think
You end it with a bang.
you end with a bang and like something feel good. Like the movie might have been shit, but that ending really kind of, I'm coming out of there differently than than this. Like with this, you're kind of forced to sit with, fuck, that was boring.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, the helicopter's been taken down. Does anyone else know that they're all on Cable Island? Who's going to get them? Is there a bigger boat coming out? Are they they live there now?
Did the first kid get there and let everyone know? Or did Ellen, his son, older Brody and Deputy,
Yeah.
did they go and notify him as soon as they got picked up from the other boat?
Like there's a lot of like, well, somebody's gonna come and get them. That'll be. It's the thing where, again, the movie is trying to have that blockbuster ending, right? Because the shark gets electrocuted, eats the cable.
Yeah.
Doesn't stick the landing.
Exactly. It hits that blockbuster, big explosion climax. But the thing about the Spielberg blockbusters, right, is big emotional, big bombastic climax, and then emotional catharsis.
Good bookend. It has a good bookend.
Good bookend. In Jaws, right?
We get that.
Smile, you son of a bitch. Jaws blows up.
And then he swims. He swims back to shore. It's like, this whole thing of, I'm not even touching the water. And then we get him, I have not only taken on a beast, I don't fear the ocean anymore.
And then and it's also the thing where you have him and Hooper and they're having that buddy conversation. And it's like
At the Casablanca, start of a beautiful friendship.
Exactly. Casablanca is another great example of this. Oh, they're being chased through, Casablanca, and they get to the airport, and then it's like, you have to get on that plane, and I'm not coming with you. Maybe in the day or tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And he has the shootout, and then it's like, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. The big action climax and the emotional catharsis. This has the action. It doesn't have the emotional bookend that makes a good blockbuster.
Especially if you're setting up that the whole town doubts him.
Exactly.
Like it's a big plot point that the head of the town, all the town members, they doubt him and think he's a stubborn old kook.
He's a guy that is just wants everything to be a shark attack.
Yeah.
Oh, everything he's asking about. Well, what did this? What did that? It's just like, But what do I know? Because this movie made a shit ton of money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So the budget for this movie,
Uh-huh.
$20 million for 1978. Ends up making $208 million for 1978. Adjusted for inflation, this would have been like an $80 million movie.
And like 340, 350.
No, it would have been $800 million box
wow.
office return. Right. Again, the fucking multipliers from the 70s to now is just real clean. It's just a 4-time multiplier. But like, that's a pretty good like $80 million movie for like this kind of film. Like that makes sense. That's probably what like a Sinners cost. I actually don't know the budget on Sinners, but I'd imagine that's probably in the ballpark 120 to 80 million.
It was like 60, but then he had some clauses where like he had to hit a certain amount for him to get the rights back to the film.
I see.
Like he took like a less money, but he'd get the rights back if it hit a certain.
Oh, if it hit a box office draw?
Yeah.
Okay. So that lines up pretty
'Cause
well.
I think it's like 60, and then it's made, I want to say, close to 300. So not quite Jaws.
Yeah.
It's
Or
actually
Jaws
a lot
2.
Jaws 2. It's a lot less than Jaws 2 actually, but
Mhm.
in this era of theater going, it's
That's pretty fucking good.
it's a good big hit.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
that's basically like a 3-time multiplier.
more or less, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Well-
more like a 3.5 multiplier.
Including it's more like a 1.5 because you got to consider marketing's always double it's the same amount of the main budget.
Yeah,
right?
the production budget, right?
So 300, let's say altogether 110, 120.
Mhm.
It's still a good amount, especially for a original IP.
Yeah.
Um,
And Jaws 2 has like a sequel, but is that sequel to another film that was
Yeah.
the highest gross movie of all time. This is probably closer if we're doing numbers to like the sequel to Avatar, right?
Yeah.
Like this Jaws 2 and Avatar 2, basically the same movie,
Yeah,
guys.
it
It's the
was,
same movie,
I
guys.
mean,
It just didn't take, like 15 years to get the sequel.
God, that's something I miss about Hollywood. When shit was good, they were like, "You want a sequel? We got that shit next fucking summer, guys. We cranking these out." I have to wait 3 fucking years for Fallout Season 2. What fucking world do we live in, people? Who the fuck looked at Fallout? Was like, okay, we're gonna do Fallout Season 1. Yeah, we're not gonna sign anybody on to like do a sequel season to this, because why not? Whatever. It's not like we made the greatest video game adaptation in the last fucking 30 years. I gotta wait 3 years for Fallout New Vegas. Those fucks at Amazon. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos. Sorry, I'm passionate about this.
I want to say it's also also in part due to every director becomes an auteur after their
Yes.
first success. And
Yeah.
because of that,
There's no journeyman anymore.
no, we've lost that. It's become like, oh well, you had a hit. Let's take Euphoria.
Yeah.
Oh, this first season, you're an auteur, blah blah blah. And then you took a little longer for a second, and he was a little too auteur-ish. Like, okay, you're sniffing your own farts, and you take too long to do the third season. Sydney Sweeney's she's too rich for Warner Brothers blood right now.
Mm.
That one guy died of an OD.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be 10 years older by the time this shit comes out, and now you gotta do some weird time skip about these druggy, confused coming of age high schoolers now that they're fucking adults, and there's no you lose we've lost, because everything needs to be a hit. We've lost we've lost our little ground hits, let's get to first base, let's just get to second, and if we happen to hit a home run, cool, but let's just get on base.
It's the whole like time skippy stuff, or like the drawn out productions of a lot of things is like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Where it they wanted to make if Spielberg made a TV series, Stranger Things season 1.
My God.
Yeah.
So
Right?
good.
It's the peak. Like, it's never reached that peak before. Like,
That cultural zeitgeist, that like it hitting just at the right moment with the right group of the
storytelling,
audience.
it's like
yeah.
you can watch season 1 and be like, that was great, I don't care, you don't have
Yeah.
to watch anything else, and then it becomes, oh well, what is it, David Harbour? Oh well, he wants more time. And sometimes it's maybe you should step away and just be the showrunner
Mhm.
and find, use these things to like, let's get more people in. Cheaper potential, cheaper talent, right?
Mhm.
But we've lost that where I gotta put my hands on it really good. And like Ghibli has an issue, right? Where like Studio Ghibli, where it was Miyazaki for so long, right?
Mhm.
And he wasn't really like, bringing, like, he's very picky.
Yeah.
We'll call it that way,
Yeah.
right? So all the people that came up under him just left to different studios.
Mhm.
They appreciate him, but they didn't really come in and do something with Ghibli,
Mhm.
right? So you start having a talent vacuum of cheap talent.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with having cheap talent,
Talent's talent.
Yeah.
but you need to put people through it.
Mhm.
But like we've lost the ability to be like, hey, Dean, you're gonna be on, let's say you're directing a few episodes of SVU,
I would love it. Love
Right,
SVU.
right.
Seen
Yeah.
them all.
and there you would see Dean from like you'd see hints of him, right?
Yeah.
Like hints of what he'd become.
Mhm.
But you're getting the ability to actually do it on a big scale before you get your film. We've lost that. Now it's like you either gotta be a film festival darling to get your thing, or just kind of
Know somebody who can
know
get you in the door.
somebody, but it doesn't even feel like nepotism can help anymore, right?
Honestly, I get what you're getting at. Because
And
in the Jaws 2 days, up until probably like the 90s or even
Yeah.
the 2000s, Hollywood just functioned more as like a factory
Yeah.
town.
Mhm.
and so hey, we got young kid, people,
Mhm.
come on in. We're gonna have you direct, some random bullshit episode of
You'll do like, because network TV, you would just have like fuck it, you can direct an episode of like Star Trek, that 70s
Yeah.
show,
Buffy.
SVU, Buffy,
Mhm.
like whatever, just because it's like, well, it's 22 episodes a season,
And
we're
we need-
gonna make a shit ton of these seasons. There's gonna be 5-6 seasons, 22 times 5, it's 100 something episodes. Not the same guy's not gonna direct every fucking episode,
No.
guys. So we'll get some guys who just graduated from UCLA, or some journeyman guys, or some guys from indies, just being like, look, we know you can competently run
a crew.
a crew,
Mhm.
and we need you to give us a turned over 30-minute drama of a TV episode,
And you have a week to shoot it.
and you have a week to shoot it. You can do that. It's gonna
Yeah.
suck, but that's easy. You do 5-10 hour days, you're good, you're
But
done.
We've shifted over to it needs to be a big hit or an auteur film
Mhm.
that like, I took so much time and now my next project I'll take longer. Everyone wants to either be give me a blockbuster hit.
A blockbuster hit, Avatar.
Everyone
We've been shitting on Avatar.
Everyone wants blockbuster, or they want to be Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's either or. No one wants to be, hey, I'm gonna come in.
I'm gonna be me.
I'm gonna just
No one wants to be Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Right.
No one wants to be just the guy that comes in and gives you something that's like,
It's competently made.
Yeah.
People are gonna like it. You know what? It's a nice heartfelt movie. But let's be honest, guys. How many people have gone back to watch its Beautiful Mind? Has anyone here gone back to watch A Beautiful Mind since it won Best Picture? Anyone?
No.
Ron Howard won an Oscar for that movie.
Mhm.
Have you seen Beautiful Mind? Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Way back in the day.
Way back. When was the last time you watched it?
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day. We need more Ron Howards in Hollywood who will just come in, do
the thing.
do a good quality job, be happy for the time, he'll love the material, but you know what? He has another thing. He's gonna do a horror movie, he's gonna do an action movie, he's gonna do a sci-fi movie, because you know what? The man he just likes making movies. He doesn't need to spend 8 years
on
develop
a single project.
the-
Guillermo del Toro's.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro will go down in history being more famous for the
For his
films
what
he
ifs.
almost directed than the
Mhm.
films he did direct. And he's made great fucking
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
But the man is going to go down in history for, it's like, he almost directed
Like,
The
for
Hobbit.
me-
He almost directed Mouse and
for
Madness. He
me,
almost directed
Right?
this.
I'm happy if I get to the point where I'm the journeyman.
Hmm.
Like if I can be, essentially a lost type of director.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we need just come in, put out this boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You dream of being Clint Eastwood one day.
Let's see, that's a different type of journeyman.
You're like, that's a journeyman that's
but
got
like, but
cred.
let's say there's a skill tree of directors. Clint Eastwood would be the pinnacle of journeyman.
Mhm.
You know, come in, budget. You know, well, you see how I run my sets. Right?
Yeah.
Everything is boom, 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 and we're gonna plan it. I know I have this time, but in my head, I know we're getting out early.
Yeah.
So.
Which everyone appreciates.
Oh,
Yes.
All filmmakers out there, everyone appreciates when they get out early. If you know you're going to be like, we're going to have a 10-hour fucking day, tell everyone it's an 11-hour day. And when you do 10, everyone's like, we got out an hour early? Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Or
for
realsies, just get done on time.
Yes, at least get done on time.
Yeah.
That too.
So.
But Jaws 2, I know we talked about a lot of things. Many things.
How
Jaws
about
2.
we wrap up the episode on Jaws before we tangentize about something else for another 30?
Yes. Okay, so Jaws 2, overall, it's a boring movie, but I don't hate it. Like, I can't bring myself to hate the movie because there are those glimmers of like gold in here.
Yeah.
I love Roy Scheider's PTSD stuff. There is like thematic juice to this, but it's not destroyed by bad stuff. It's diluted by boring stuff. Nothing in this movie I would point to and say
bad.
is bad.
No.
It's just
Boring.
It's longer than it needs to be. And the good stuff in here, if you have seen the first Jaws, I feel is enough to push you through to the end.
Yeah.
Boo.
No, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. You love Jaws. I'm the Jaws super fan, so it's like it should be anything Jaws. I should be over. Like, no.
You have the popcorn bucket.
I've got the popcorn. I will get anything Jaws that I can. But no, I mean, it was a good movie. It could have been a lot better. I think they should have. I mean, if you're really gonna push for a sequel, make it something that's worth it instead of the kids kind of ruined it, or these long shots kind of killed it. It's just really work on your storytelling. Be like Spielberg. Really flesh out your story, your emotions. But, it's not as boring. I mean, I get it. You've never seen the first one. You don't understand.
As a standalone movie.
Yeah, as a standalone
Boring.
movie. Yeah, I understand that. But, knowing the history, love the Easter eggs. I loved everything in it. It's just, it didn't have that lightning in a bottle feel that the first movie had.
It's a continuation of something that landed the bullseye.
Landed the bullseye, but it's like it could have been executed way better.
But Brandon, seeing as this is your first Jaws film,
I will give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm a 3 out of 5
I'm
on
at
this.
3,
but,
yeah.
but like 2 out of 5, understandable.
As a standalone.
As a standalone.
I might be different post
Revenge.
After Revenge.
but-
Fucking 5 out of 5, shit.
But the final grade is 2 3/4 stars.
Okay.
Because if you go into it thinking it's just about a man dealing with PTSD and his inability to express that PTSD, it's a way better movie, at least for the first hour.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I mean, you even have like the doctor that's there and that's exploring, how this orca, was washed up and died. And it's like, you could have gone more into studying, okay, this is the second time that this has happened to this location. Why is this location so hot that, these huge animals are coming here and are attacking? It's like, there's so many different avenues they could have taken.
Why didn't that orca scientist step into the Hooper role?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that person like the person Scheider's bouncing off of now?
I'm staying here in town because I'm, basically doing the autopsy of this animal. I'm going to come out on the boat with you and I want to see, what you're seeing. No one believes you. I need to see it with my own 2 eyes, and there you go.
And maybe that's the thing. Maybe Scheider or Brody's character is trying to have that buddy-buddy relationship with this scientist like they did with Hooper, but this person is just like, is a totally different animal. So it's almost like
But you could
give him
even
a
do
new
it where,
dynamic.
Hooper can't get there, but he recommended her and sent her to him because he has all that experience with the chief from the first movie.
And that ties her in a little bit. Oh, so she's from Hooper, so it's cool. But she's like different. She doesn't get drunk like Hooper. She's more like by the numbers or whatever. And it's like, Brody's all PTSD and he's wired and he's super like tight. And she is like, dude,
Excited.
and she's like excited. She's like, this is so cool. Or it's like, bro, just like get over it. She could be a thing where it's like, I've seen a lot of people eaten by sharks. It's like kind of my job. I literally got sent out here to investigate dead animals eaten by other animals. Bro, just get over it. What if that was like the dynamic, right?
And then she learns once she's on the boat and sees how, you know, this shark interacts with everything in its path.
It's different than from examining a dead body. It's different than seeing how the body got there. And then she's like, oh, I'm so... It's like the thing where it's like all the... Again, everything is about Vietnam in the 70s. It's like, you know, I saw the footage on TV, but now actually seeing how the bodies got there, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Again, there's juice that could have been here.
There's so many possibilities.
But that is, in fact, Jaws 2.
Yes, it is.
Jaws 2. And next time on Dragon Ball Z, we'll be talking about...
Yeah.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I don't even think I could utter it.
Jaws 3D. That's right, Jaws 3D, because... that it comes out in the 80s when the 3D craze was happening.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. We have a guest on that one.
We do. I don't know if we want to spoil it just yet or surprise everybody.
But if you wanted to listen to that, where can they go?
If you want to listen to us on a different platform than you currently are, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, like right now.
Yes, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube, where you can see the video versions of this podcast, because now we're doing video versions instead of the slideshows for now.
R.I.P. slideshows.
R.I.P. slideshows. You can also check out the other YouTube content that we do, the short films and whatnot, at the Felix on Mars YouTube channel. But if you wanted to find out what we're doing on our social medias, you can go to
the Film Club Podcast on Instagram, where we post upcoming episodes we're going to do, events we're going to go to, guests we're going to have on the podcast, and just random stuff that we do.
But Brandon, would you like to plug anything? Let anybody know what you're doing. What's coming up? What's happening?
Coming down the pike, we have Farewell.
That's right.
Should be out probably by the end of July, the latest, I think, at this rate.
I think so. Yeah, that is your newest film.
Yes.
I believe it has graduated from being a YouTube-only release to might actually have a festival run coming up.
It possibly will.
I can believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys will see. Definitely.
But if anybody wanted updates on that, any social medias want to plug?
Yeah, just the at FelixOnMars.collective.
I believe it's FelixOnMars.collective. I think you got it right.
Yeah, at FelixOnMars.collective. All the news for the film will be on there.
I think, you know, I'll probably drop the link for Felix on Mars on our Instagram bio. So if people want to go onto our Instagram and find Felix on Mars, give them a follow. Just check our bio.
Yes, because, you know, it's a little bit of a mouthful to have to keep saying all
It's a lot of words.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah.
But with that,
we'll see you next week at the Film Club.
have a good week, everybody.
Adios.